Great. So, between the time that I made that intro to now, it's been like a week. And, well, for one, I can't remember what I said in it. Which, I mean, like, could have happened within 5 minutes of making the video. But also, like, part of the reason why it took me so long to sit down here and do these readings is because I don't know if it's like the Taurus sun in me, if it's my Virgo moon, blah, 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 I don't know. But it's like, I felt like I wanted to have something more prepared, and I get stuck and hung up on these, like, wanting something to be perfect, which it never is. And it's just almost like an excuse, right? So I don't know. Why am I talking about this? I don't know. Maybe you needed to hear it too, that if you are delaying doing something, other light. If you're delaying doing something, if you're waiting for the perfect time for something, there's no such thing. There just isn't. And, like, we start kind of like amping up on the anxiety around it too, right? Because then I started feeling anxious, like, oh my gosh, like looking at the date, oh my gosh, like when was the last time I put out videos, blah, 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 and then for me, I just kind of shut down, which isn't good. That's not helpful for anybody. It doesn't make the anxiety go away. And that anxiety comes from knowing that I wanted to sit down here and I wanted to put out a message to you guys. I wanted to, get some readings out there again. And the fact that I wasn't doing it was what was causing the anxiety. And the reason why I wasn't doing it is because I wanted to have something else that either added value to the reading or whatever, which is really kind of interesting because Venus just went retrograde right on Sunday. And that's the second house for me, which is about worthiness, value, right? And here I am going on and on about wanting something, whatever it is, to be perfect. And also the main message behind that being showing up exactly where you are and with exactly whatever tools that you have right now to do the thing. So with that being said, I'm going to turn this into the intro video. So you won't even see the one that I was talking about that I just did a week ago because that has nothing now. I realized that last month I didn't get around to doing human design profile readings, and I do want to do those still. I'm like teetering between, wanting to make those the priority and the zodiac signs secondary, or, kind of keep, because there's tons of videos from YouTube creators about zodiac signs. I haven't seen a single one about human design profiles or really anything else. And I think it's cool because it's just a different avenue to receive a message, like any zodiac sign could be a 1-3 profile or a 2-5 profile or whatever, right? So I think I just answered my own question, and I think I'm going to, for the time being, I'm going to lead with the human design profile readings. And if I get around to doing zodiac readings in a month, then great. If not, it is what it is for the time being. I'm a manifesting generator, 5-1, emotional authority, and true to manifesting generator form. I have a million things going on, which is kind of why, like, my time is all of a sudden limited, and I am struggling to get all 24 videos out in a month. So that's okay because, it's energy, right? And for right now, for whatever reason, I have a limited availability of time, but also energy. I'm sacral, but that doesn't mean that I just, I I have endless amount of energy. So, we still need to be taking care of our sacral and giving it rest. But like I said, I have a ton of stuff going on. And at some point, the energy is going to shift. And at some point, I will be able to put 24 videos out again. And, it really goes into trust. That's a big thing with human design too. The major thing is deconditioning the ways that we were structured to live our lives. And most of that is not listening to our own inner wisdom and guidance. And, that's where the strategy and authority comes from. So without any further delay, because I could keep going on, and I probably will in the videos. But again, I'm going to lead with the human design profile readings. I am not going to worry about, I like to have some sort of content that goes over each profile, just to give you, like a different perspective from somebody else and their understanding of what the profile says. I have some stuff buried in my phone, but I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go search for it this time. So going forward, I'll the next time we do these readings, I'll have some sort of content. But for now, we're just going to, treat it in some kind of way. Okay. Hello. So. This is a reading for the 2-5 or the Hermit Heretic, or Heretic profile. I like the way that Heretic sounds better because I like the way that it sounds with Heretic Owl. I don't like how Heretic Owl sounds. So I don't know if I'm saying it right, but whatever. That's the Heretic in me. So, you have the Hermit and the Heretic profile lines, which is probably really interesting because, the second line wants to just be left alone. And the fifth line needs other people. So it's like that kind of push and pull of giving yourself time alone, but also other people. So the second line, the Hermit line, like I said, it likes to be alone. You probably have a thing about your space, like you want it to maybe look a certain way and feel a certain way, and you might even change it, like often or every couple of years or whatever. But it's like, you want your hermit cave to be comfy, right? Like when you do need to rejuvenate and get away from people, you want to be in a space that's comfortable. You want it to be inspiring. You want it to be yours, right? So that could be your whole house. It could be your room. It could be your office, your sacred space, wherever that is. But the second line, it's interesting because both of these lines come with a projection field. Both can be positive, but the fifth line has the ability to kind of break down a bit more than the second line. The second line, it's like you have a hard time seeing your own natural abilities because there is like a natural aptitude that comes with the second line. And there's just like, there might just be something that comes really easily to you. I feel like the second lines that I know, like they can pick up on trends really well, whatever trends they are. Like one of my friends, both of them are 2-4s, but one of them is more into jewelry. The other one is like more into like marketing and fashion and skincare type of things. But it's like both of them can see the trends in those fields really well. So I'm just curious, like if you find yourself being able to catch trends well, like, so yeah, comment below if you have, or if you feel like you can, or even if somebody has said that to you. But, the thing is, like, other people are going to be able to recognize, like, your natural gifts more so than you, right? Like, and you might not even see them as being a natural talent. You're just like, I mean, that's just something that I do. You know, like anybody can do that. No, not anybody can. You can though. Second lines can. And you do. It's like it's inherent in you, right? It's like the gift that comes with the second line. So again, right, like you need other people to kind of like bring that out in you, but then you also need like your time alone to like kind of get your hands into whatever that thing is that you find yourself interested in. There could even be like a level of paranoia that comes with, because, you know, I mean, there might be something that you have no interest in and at all, and people are like, oh my gosh, you're gonna make an amazing leader someday, and you're like, that sounds like my worst effing nightmare. So, you know, it's like you might just kind of have this like distrust in people, or just, you know, being a bit skeptical if somebody calls something out in you that you don't recognize in yourself. You might just be like, no. But, you know, like as much as you can, like try to at least be open a little bit to that. Just see how it goes, right? Because a lot of that could even just be conditioning. A lot of it can be like, a lot of that resistance can be conditioning. And a huge thing with human design is deconditioning, you know, our childhood, our societal expectations. You know, like a lot of people, majority of people are conditioned to live more like generators. But a lot of people are projectors, manifestors, you know, reflectors. So you don't have that sacral energy, and you shouldn't be living as a generator, right? So the fifth line, the heretic line, some people call that the hero or the general, or what was the other one that just escaped my mind? I can't remember now. It's gone. So you might, like, people would project the like positive thing on you about like, hey, you know, like you're really good at this, you could step in and save the day on that, right? And you would be like, I could. And that's where like strategy and authority comes into play, like listening to your strategy and authority, because yeah, you could step in and save the day if it's correct for you. Right. And also recognizing that a little like dance to perfect with the fifth line is stepping in, doing your part, and stepping out when you feel like you have fulfilled what you believe your part or your role in whatever it is. But with the fifth line, there does come the ability to be burned at the stake. So, you know, if you don't, for some reason, live up to other people's projections, and they're just like, what the hell, F you, right? And maybe that's happened to you before, which also kind of creates a level of paranoia, not wanting to get involved with people because you're like, dude, I've been burned a couple times. But again, you know, it's also recognizing that for one, it's not you. For two, you would never know. I'm a 5-1, and I feel like no matter how clear I am with people in communicating, like, this is what I'm willing to do, this is what I'm not willing to do, or this is what I can do, this is what I'm not going to do, it does not matter. Projections still happen. So it's more so about just being, you know, really in tuned with your star player, with yourself, right? And again, you know, like listening to that strategy and authority and letting that help guide you to correct experiences, being sure that you do get downtime so you're not burning out that hermit line, especially if you are a non-sacral being, making sure that you're not burning yourself out. Even if you are sacral, I'm a manifesting generator, and I can get burned out to hell. So, you know, we all need rest. I think that's all that I have for that. Oh, I love this. I don't know if I've seen this yet. Vast vistas, expand your horizons. Very interesting. Like, this feels almost like very like Three of Wands, like, you know, taking steps, like taking actions, moving forward. It also talks about expanding your horizons. It's curious. We have this boat here, and did this boat, is it docked? Is it waiting? This feels like, one of those Joker things. Like, of course, I can't think of the word. I never can think of words when I need them. But like it's in a box and you twirl the handle and then it like pops up. But it's almost like Pinocchio in the sense of it's coming to life. It's like deciding that you don't want to be this Joker that's just like, almost being controlled by others as far as like when you pop up, and you're going to take control of your own destiny. And also even seeing an opportunity with this ship here to go somewhere, to move, to travel, to do something. We have the 10 of Pentacles. Hell yeah. Ace of Wands. Okay, this is beautiful. Even the 10 of Pentacles, it's like deciding like, what is the goal? Why are you doing anything that you're doing? Like what is the fairy tale? The Ace of Wands is like having that passion, having that spark. We have Temperance. The Knight of Wands. 9 of Pentacles. Hell yeah. Big, like go for it energy. And the King of Swords. Love it. Hanged Man at the bottom of the deck. Page of Swords. Absolutely. This does feel like going for something. So, if you've been thinking about it, I feel like this is like confirmation of that. So like I said, the 10 of Pentacles, 10s are completion, right? 10s also tend to involve other people. So Pentacles having to do with our money, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it. It's our time. Like, what are we spending our physical time doing? It's our physical body, right? Like lifestyle, our health. How are we taking care of these meat suits? And the 10 of Pentacles is about abundance. It's about success. It's, legacy, even generational wealth. We can see this person sitting here with this castle in the back, and these pentacles are growing on this tree, almost like Cinderella vibes because, or maybe Snow White is better, but Cinderella came to mind first because of this castle back here. But, there's this deer, there's a wolf there. I mean, you could even be involved with like animal rescues or wanting to get more animals. You could have animals that are just like very important to you. But it is interesting because generally on the 10 of Pentacles, it's like a family card. There's usually generations on that card, but on this one, there's one person. So this is definitely and clearly strictly about you. But also, like I was saying, like even setting goals, like what is the end game for you? Like what does it look like? What does your, fairy tale or like best case scenario type of thing look like for you? And then we have the Knight of Wands. Wands are about action, communication. It's the motivation behind the actions that we're taking, creativity, passion. Like, what actions are we taking towards our passion? How are we expressing our creativity? I also see wands as being information because that's generally what we get by trying things, right? Is like we learn what works, we learn what doesn't, we learn what we like, we learn what we don't like. And that's all information. It's life experience. Right? So the Knight of Wands, there's this enthusiasm, this curiosity, and also like even just adventure and accepting a challenge. But also, and for whatever reason, I'm getting this message, the Knight of Wands, it can be like a match. Like you spark the match and then, the flame is only going to last so long on it. right? But it's almost like it's just enough though to get you going, and that's like all that you need. And then we have the Ace of Wands next, and it's interesting because the Knight of Wands is holding the Ace of Wands here, right? But then it's like the Ace of Wands being on its own. This is something new. This is sparking something new. And like I said, with the Knight of Wands, it could just be enough to get you going to where you discover something new, or maybe you discover like a new passion. It's like, expressing your creativity differently. It could have to do with work or how you make your money. And it's paired with the effing Nine of Pentacles. This right here is gorgeous. Because like if there's something work-wise, something that has value, something that can make you money, and again, it could have something to do with your health too. It doesn't have to be, it's always a spectrum, right? Like it doesn't have to be something super duper huge. It could just be, making this decision, this commitment to yourself to, change something about your lifestyle. But with a Nine of Pentacles, this is individual success. This is independence. There's different animals on here. There's a tiger and a peacock on here and a couple birds. But whatever it is, wherever you're at, because obviously the first card is a Ten of Pentacles. So maybe you feel like you've even reached a level of, like you've mastered something, and it's almost kind of like maybe you're bored and you're looking for something to almost like kind of spark some excitement within you. There it is. And it's also going to be successful. So it's like, I identify as you now, because it's like whatever you do, it's going to turn out well. Even if it's something new, and if you've been considering something but just haven't done it, like do it. The Temperance card is also fire. So we have 3 fire cards, 2 earth, 1 air. Temperance is about patience. So it's interesting that we have this mix here, and then there's Temperance that talks about alchemy, because they're actually mixing fire and water here. And what that's doing is creating a rainbow. Which makes sense, right? Because like in the realm of science, earth science, actually, speaking of earth, that's how rainbows are created, right? Is by sunlight going through moisture that's in the air. So, there's 1 cup that's fire, there's 1 cup that's water, there's this rainbow. Maybe even seeing a rainbow will be some level of significance to you. And I also just heard, like, it doesn't even have to be a rainbow in the sky. It could be, you see a sign in a window, or a sticker or something along those lines. But with Temperance, the thing with Temperance is recognizing that in order to alchemize something, there are certain steps that you have to go through to do that, right? I always think of tempering chocolate. And, you have to do things in a certain order for a certain period of time for it to actually work properly. And if you don't do that, then it like ruins a chocolate, and you have to go back to step 1. So that's why there's this level of patience that comes with, it's like recognizing that energies are blending around you. So, even if it doesn't look like something is happening, or even if it looks like it's not going the way that you want it to, just wait. Just keep, taking 1 step forward, like 1 foot in front of the other. And if you're a manifesting generator, like, that we do have this tendency to move so fast that we do skip steps, because we're just like, that's pointless. I'm not going to do that. And then we get to a certain point where we're like, shit, we should have done that step. And now we have to go back, right? So it's like, yeah, that is very much part of the process, but also recognize that if that does happen, it's, it hasn't failed. It's just, needing to back up a little bit, tweaking things, and, it's still like moving forward. And then we have the King of Swords. Swords have to do with our mind. It's our mindset, state of mind. It's ideas. It's also truth, like divine truth. Like practical, logical, void of any emotion truth. I also see swords as being the card of ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences, regardless of if they're true or not, and regardless if they're our stories or not. But it's like, the ego is like the reason why we do things that we do, why we communicate the way that we do, why we think the way that we do, but also why we don't do certain things, why we, that negative self-talk type of stuff, right? That all comes in our mind. So the King of Swords is the highest expression of the suit, right? So there is going to be this clarity of thought. And maybe whatever this situation is, these 4 cards, it's like they could somehow come together and to create something different, or like whatever is happening between these two things, because this Temperance card is here. So there's some type of mixology that's happening here. And it is going to take some time in order for this mental clarity to happen. So, kind of allow yourself to go through the steps, but at the end of it, you are going to be very clear on what you want to do, how you think about it. Even, I just kind of even hear like calculated risk with the King of Swords, because since it is very like analytical, right? Like it's figuring things out. So this is going to be figured out by the end of it. And we have the Hanged Man. So it's just so interesting that these two things, and they don't even necessarily have to be like two separate things. They can be, but it could just be some like branch off of one thing. But then at the end here, we have these 2 cards that are like, okay, just cool it, right? Like this is happening. There is something that is expanding your horizons here. There is this opportunity, but also like cool your jets a little bit and let it actually unfold for you. Let yourself get a clear picture. With the King of Swords and the Hanged Man is about seeing things from a different perspective. And suspension, like the only way to do that is for you to be hanging upside down. Not necessarily literally, but it is going to force you to actually look at things differently, right? Because you're going to be looking at things upside down. So there's a level of enlightenment that comes with it. Just being able to see things from multiple different perspectives. That was very interesting. And I am going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.